Sauce.
Hey, you like Pez?
It looks like that. Here's Heaney from the boundary line. He's an expert at these. From the boundary line!
Hello and welcome to Behind the Boundary podcast. I'm your host Pez. I'm here with Sauce. We're in for the final round of the AFL season, round 23. Finals are still up in the air. Top 4 spots still up for grabs. This is what we love, Sauce.
It is what we love, Pez. It's something we talk week in, week out about where everyone is going to finish, and it all comes down to the last round. Two massive games that sort of pick two fates for two clubs. Realistically, there's another two games that we need to talk about in terms of whether people are going to finish on their ladder. It's a great round of footy leading into the bye, Pez, the famous finals before the bye.
Yeah, and we start off on Friday night, which is a massive, massive clash that we'll speak about, and Melbourne taking on Brisbane up at the Gabba, and the winner can secure a top 4 finish, and the loser is at the peril of other results to miss the top 4.
You are correct, Pez. And missing the top 4 after a lot of these teams' season, like, you know, Geelong's obviously safe, but Sydney, Melbourne, Brisbane, Collingwood, Fremantle, you know, all of those teams have had a lot of time in the top 4, and it's sort of been a seesawing affair for a lot of them. But for those teams to sort of miss the top 4 after the way they've finished, give away a double chance, give away a potential home final, it's really disappointing, but it is great as footy fans because it means there's so much riding on it, and we don't have players resting and having 2 weeks off before the finals. And it's what you like to see, Pez. We're going to get, 90-odd thousand on Sunday for battle of who actually makes it. You probably expect a sold-out Gabba to determine who gets the second or third spot. It's going to be an incredible round.
Yeah, it's just every club, other eyes are on. There's a couple of dead rubbers, but you're always going to get that in the last round anyway, and what the teams have to play for. So that'll be a lot of my thoughts this week. What does this team have to play for? What are they going to come out with? What mindset? What effort are they going to give? And before we get into all of that, the only man that has mattered this week, apart from the actual footy, which hasn't been spoken about too much, Sauce, is Alistair Clarkson, the ex-Hawthorn coach, because he was nearly signed, sealed and delivered to North Melbourne, and the rumours were all around him going there. And then some Essendon rumours came out. There's actually been people that reported that Ben Rutten lost his job earlier in the week, and that hasn't happened yet, but he is a dead man walking depending on what Alistair Clarkson wants to do.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many stories to talk about this, Pez, and unpacked, because the long and short of it is that a couple of weeks ago, Essendon made a decision to go, you know what, no, we're going to stick with Ben Rutten. He's got another year contracted. We're happy with him. We back him. And in 2 weeks, the club has been turned upside down. They've gone through an absolute mass exodus at the top where they've just sacked. And the moment that happened, 3 or 4 days, they were in talks with Alistair Clarkson. Apparently, rumour has it that they've been speaking to him behind closed doors for a little while. He did allude to early in the year, Alistair Clarkson, that, he was asked a question about the different list, and he said he was interested in Essendon. But, you really feel for Ben Rutten, because imagine going to your job, Pez, and all week everyone's talking about how if this person is available, you're sacked automatically. Because at the moment, they're saying that he's the person for the job unless we can get this other person there. Horrible way. It's disrespectful what they've done to him.
It is a horrible way to go to your job, but he's already gone to his job on game day. Did you see the vision of Nick Hind, who hasn't really proven himself anything, walks off the bench, walks straight past Ben Rutten, doesn't make eye contact with him. Ben Rutten's actually trying to hit him, to speak to him and talk to him. He is not giving him anything, no respect, and pretty much like, we don't respect you as a coach. I don't want to play for you.
Yeah, but I'm sorry. Like, if they don't respect him, then do him the due diligence and say, you know what? Don't make him wait. Don't sit there and go, we're going to keep you in case we don't get Alistair Clarkson. Because all it is they've dangled Alistair Clarkson out there they're Ben Rutten as a carrot for Alistair Clarkson. The job's here if you want it, mate. We'll get rid of it. We'll move heaven and earth to get you. If you don't trust the man and he's not the man for the job, then sack him. Like, at the end of the day, we trust our football clubs, Pez, to do the right thing for him. And if he's not the right man for it, it shouldn't matter whether Alistair Clarkson is available or not. Get rid of him.
Yeah, well, if he's not, who else are they going to do? That's probably what they're thinking.
But who cares, Pez? Like, if you're doing an evaluation of it, and if he's the best person for the job, then you shouldn't even be alluding to Alistair Clarkson. He's obviously not the best person for the job. So why are we even bothering it? Alistair Clarkson's been around for all season.
If Alistair Clarkson went to any club or called any club's head honcho and said, hey, I'm interested in coaching your club. If you want to give me the position, I'm in. How many clubs say no?
Probably, you'd say the top 4. top 4.
So 14 other clubs do. They might think they've got the right man for the job now, but if a better man comes along, bang.
So don't openly come out and say that. Like, don't come out and do this and say the pressure's on and start to, admit to be talking to Allister Clarkson and all that sort of rubbish. Like, he either is the person for the job or he's not. Like, there's no need to put Ben Rutten through this. And let's say they don't get Clarkson. How does Ben Rutten rock up there? If you said he's already lost the playing group's respect, he can't rock up going past this week.
I think he's not coaching next year regardless if Clarko chooses them or not. So
he's got too much pride, Pez. Well, yeah. he can't walk away. He has to get sacked.
Is he going to get sacked or is he going to do the
I wouldn't
was
be.
it Brad Scott?
I wouldn't be. I'd be making, if it was me, I'd be sitting there going, you know what? No, you didn't want me, and now you want me to step down and do you guys a favour? No chance. You don't want me, you sack me.
Well, he was the big man getting the job when he first got it a few years back because he was the succession plan, and then they made the finals last year, and they're up and about, and they still haven't won one since 2004. So the big question is Alistair Clarkson. Now, he said to GWS, he's told them that I'm not going to Greater Western Sydney. I want to stay in Victoria. So it's pretty much up in the air between two clubs, and he's giving an answer, apparently, from North Melbourne tomorrow afternoon, on the Friday afternoon. So it's North Melbourne or it's Essendon. We know that Essendon have the better facilities. They're the club that are richer, more money, bigger fan base.
A richer history.
History. All of those things. But if you take that away, Sauce, take it away, you choose the club, not because of the colour of the jumper or which one you think looks better or Arden Street versus Tullamarine down at the hangar. It's list versus list. You're Clarko or you're going for the job. You get to choose either one. Which one do you choose?
It's a really tough because it's two completely different scenarios. If you're looking for Clarkson, as Clarkson, you want to be the person that turns around a club straight away, your obvious choice is Essendon because they were there last year. Their list isn't too bad. It probably needs a couple of different game plan, bring in a couple of coaching of your support team, and you could probably get that list to finals. North Melbourne, clean slate. Bigger challenge. They've been a club that has been in shambles the last couple of years. They've had a lot of top-end talent, Pez. Like, if you go through their list, they've had, Horn Francis, who we may not be there, number 1 national pick. Will Phillips, 2 years ago, number 3 pick. LDU, mate, Luke Davis-Uniacke. Number 4, 2017 draft pick. Number 5 in Ben Cunnington, a little bit further back. Number 5 in Pollack. Number 6 in Stevenson. Luke McDonald at number 8. Like, they've got a lot of top-end talent there that hasn't performed.
And if they lose this week, they get another number 1
draft pick as well. So, that's very enticing. That is extremely enticing. For me, you compare the two lists, and I think that list... It depends what you want. Do you want longevity and success? Do you want to build up North to be, like Hawthorn, one of those clubs? We saw what Clarko did with Hawthorn, and I would put Hawthorn at the end of Clarko's coaching career very similar to where Essendon are. They had a couple of top-end talent guys. They had enough lists to sort of there. And what happened? They had 1 year of success, maybe 2 years of not real success because they didn't win finals, and then they dropped off. So I would say that is very similar to Essendon. If I'm Clarko, I'm actually going to North Melbourne. I'm building the legend of Clarko. I'm building it up.
Yeah, it's how you want to build the legend. And
that's me personally, though.
If you go to either club, the expectation is going to be the same. It's going to be, hey, you need to turn us around. The expectation at Essendon is probably a little bit more because he needs to make finals next year. If he goes to North Melbourne, he's not expected to make finals next year with that list. The top-end talent that both sides have, Essendon have more top-end talent. They have had some injuries, but they have underperformed for what they expected to do with their list. So yes, they need to make changes in their list. They've got a lot of players from other clubs that have come in. So they're probably more enticing for free agents and things to come into Essendon as well, rather than go to Arden Street and go to North Melbourne. So there's different things and how to go about it. Essendon are going to be in the draft still. They're going to get a top-end talent. What free agents are available? Who can I talk to? Who can I get to this club? If I put, he's got relationships with Jack Gunston, Luke Bruce, can I slot one of them into the Essendon forward line and, really put myself out there to compete for finals? If I put them in North Melbourne, I'm probably, the development isn't there. We're not ready for it. So which way is he going to go depending on free agents and past relationships?
Yeah, it's really tough though, Pez, because as you said, if you're just doing facilities and money and opportunity, then Essendon is the easy one because they've got an immaculate training facility down at the airport. In Tullamarine, it looks amazing. But I think that the building, the legacy of turning North Melbourne around where they are from now, like they're on the verge of being sent to Tassie. Their resources are pretty horrible. Arden Street has, continually doing redevelopment. I use the inverted commas there because, redevelopment for them is getting a new treaty and that's about it. Like that's the redevelopment there in those change rooms. But I think that if you are Clarko, you're taking that. I mean, the lists in comparison are quite similar if you look at the averages. You look at their rookies. Essendon had 9 rookies with 1 Category B. North Melbourne had 5 rookies. You look at the age difference, 24 years is for Essendon, average age versus 23.7. The average games played currently, 55 games versus 57 games. So the lists, when they're put on the average, are quite similar. But as you said, the talent definitely is there with with Essendon. If you look at their player rankings, you got Zach Merritt, Darcy Parish is your top 2 by a mile compared to the next one. Then you got Jake Stringer. He's probably your next one there. But how many years has he got left? So if he's going to be there for the next journey, maybe 1 or 2 years, he maybe doesn't even get re-signed. Peter Wright there, absolute bargain for where they've got him. He's still quite young enough. North Melbourne's top ranked player is Toddy Goldstein. And he's got not long to go in terms of that, but then you get into the enticing, those ones that haven't performed week in, week out. Jai Simpkin, Luke Davis-Uniacke. You got the
Nick Larkey, Cam Zurhaar.
Exactly, got those inconsistent performers. Now, does that talent reflect talent that's there, and they haven't had a game plan or consistency or a coach that they believe in, so they're performing week in, week out? Or is that talent not actual real talent, and it's one of those circumstantial talents?
It's real talent. It's hard to perform
week in, week out.
You're a shit club and you're losing the contested possession. You're losing the ball. You don't win the ball to get it to your forwards. When you do kick it inside 50, you're under the pump. You're under pressure. So Larkey and Zurhaar, they've had great seasons for the delivery that they've got. If you put them into a top 4 side heading into the finals, there'd be a lot of sides that would love to have those type of players in their forward 50. And if they got a Richmond delivery in the last couple of weeks, or they got a Geelong delivery into the forward line, those players would be up there kicking 50 plus goals.
Yeah, I mean, Larkey and Zurhaar are 23 years old, and they've played in 2017. 2022. They've both played 19, 18 games, kicked 37, 34 games in one of the worst teams in the modern era. Basically, that's enticing. Paul Curtis is coming through. He's played 15 games, kicked 12 goals. He's 19 years old. 22, LDU. Curtis Taylor's 22. Jai Simpkins 24. They've got some talent there. You got the number 1 draft pick. They'll get a number 1, and I'll use again the inverted commas because they won't get the actual number 1. He'll go off to Brisbane. Already elected, the father-son rule to go to Brisbane. So they've got a lot of talent there, but it's a slow burn for the North Melbourne one. It really is going to depend what you want. What would you do?
It does depend what you want. I would pick.
Take your hatred away from North.
I've got hatred for both of these clubs. This is the problem. And if I take away history and things like that, and I just want to win, I'm going for Essendon. If I want to build, I'm going for North Melbourne. So personally, I'm going to take the Essendon list if I'm Clarko and try and compete for finals.
See, the Essendon list, Pez, you've got 1 or 2 years to get success. Because I'll go through just I've got Hurley who retired today. Fantastic, good to see him back. He'll get his last game this weekend. He's at 31. Heppel's at 29. Shield is 29. Tipper's already retired at 29. Devon Smith's 28. Jake Stringer's 27. Nick Tynes 27. So you got him for another couple of years.
I'm delisting him straight away. He's not playing a game.
Zach Merritt's 26. So this is where you start to get to the potential talent that you can sort of build around for longer than 2 years. Merritt, Laverde, you've got Peter Wright there who's 25. You've got Darcy Parish who's 24. Francis who's 24. Redmond who's 24. And then you get into that real great talent there, Pez, in terms of, Draper's 23. Ridley's 23. Look, Jai Colbell's 21.
You got a good balance there. And you didn't say a lot of 30s.
No.
A lot of them didn't start with a 3 in front of them. So some of those players will play some good footy into their, when they're 32, 33. So I'm happy with my choice, and I'll be coaching the Bombers as of next year. Yeah,
I'm glad to beat you next year, Pez, coaching for Essendon as well.
There you go.
Actually, yeah, it's interesting when you put, Pez, I was originally all over North in terms of that one, but when you actually do go through the ages and that, and North Melbourne's top-end talent, Essendon's top-end talent, and that potential talent in like Nick Cox and some of those young blokes under 25, Essendon actually is a really enticing thing. But I think that the expectation of the fans would be get us back to final straight away. And I think that actually could...
Yeah, I do think Clarko takes the pressure off on some of those because he's got to be in there to trust. Everyone wants him. He doesn't need a job interview. So he kind of takes the pressure off from the media because they're not going to be hounding him after 2 losses like they would any other coach. So pressure's off a little bit. Either club you choose. Looking forward to see who it is tomorrow. But round 23, Sauce, this is the big stuff. We start with a clash that, you know, you can have 3 results in footy, a win, a loss or a draw. And a draw would be absolutely huge on a Friday night here. We've got Brisbane taking on Melbourne. And the top 4 shapes from here, and other games depend on one of these teams losing. So Collingwood is sitting there outside of the top 4. Fremantle is sitting there in with a chance. You know, if Collingwood were to lose to Carlton and Brisbane or Melbourne lose, they can sneak into the top 4. So big game on Friday night footy. You want to have it in your own hands. You have to win this game if you're Brisbane or if you're Melbourne.
Yeah, to paint a picture there, Pez, you got Sydney, Melbourne, Brisbane, Collingwood all on 60 points, and Melbourne play Brisbane and Collingwood play Carlton. Both of those are 50-50 games. It really leaves it open there. Sydney play your mob, and you'd say that they probably get that win, and they've got a nice little hefty percentage there, so they probably get second spot. But, you know, third, fourth, and then to miss out is really crucial. Brisbane and Melbourne, head-to-head, you know, in a game where Melbourne has been the premiership favourite since day dot, and they have been an inconsistent team all year, Pez, because they had a great run at the start, and then they went into a little bit of a, you know, win-loss, little bit of pressure. They've thrown away a couple of games that they probably should have retained, you know, with big leads. Brisbane, similar sort of stuff. They could have had second spot sewn up, Pez. They finished the job against Richmond. They're sitting there clear outright at 64. They just need to, you know, just turn up, and even if they lose, they're sitting there probably, you know, battling for second or third. So there's a lot at stake there, Pez, not only in terms of finals, but reputation, because Brisbane have this tendency to not perform in finals, and this is basically an elimination final because the loser misses a second chance.
Well, in the AFL era, only 2 teams have won outside of the 8. Oh, outside of the top 4, sorry. 2 teams have won the premiership. Yep. So for one of these teams that lose and don't get there, yes, they'll get a home final, finishing 5th or 6th, but they don't want to be travelling that next week they could be travelling to Sydney. They could be travelling down to Geelong if they're an interstate side, down at the MCG anyway, where Brisbane haven't won a lot. So that game's massive. The next game after that, well, Collingwood versus Carlton. It comes down to if Collingwood can get a win, it doesn't matter about Fremantle because they've had the draw. Yep. So if Collingwood win and whoever loses on Friday night, they get a top 4 finish. But in the same game, if Carlton win, they guarantee themselves a top 8 spot because on Sunday, the first game, the Bulldogs have to win. And if the Bulldogs win and Carlton lose, the percentages will shift around no matter what. And Bulldogs will make the 8 and Carlton will miss out. Then Collingwood could make the top 4.
Yeah, unless the Western Bulldogs win by basically a point. It's 0.1% difference. So, you know, Carlton need to win, and it's unbelievable fashion, Pez. And the same scenario happened in 1992, round 23. Exact same scenario. Collingwood needed to win to make the top 4. Carlton needed to win to make the finals. And, you know, Collingwood got the chocolates, finished top 4, and the rest is history after that. But this is huge, Pez. This is massive. So much expectation because Collingwood here, they've sort of have gone the season with that sort of nothing to lose mentality, and they just kept winning the games. They kept chipping away, Pez. But now for the first time this season, they not only do they have expectation of winning because they need to retain that top spot, they've got a lot to lose. And that mentality of nothing to lose, it doesn't come into play here. Carlton, same thing. They've got a lot of pressure and they haven't got any excuses anymore, Pez, because if they lose and give up this top 8 spot after sitting there top of the ladder after the first 2 rounds and being in the top 8, Pez, every single week of the season, there's no excuses for them. And it's a huge setback for them, especially with the expectation from the fans, the coach, and the media, Pez, because their list is very good when healthy.
All right, let's say they win. Richmond are taking on Essendon. If this scenario happens, Richmond win, Carlton win. Carlton will finish 8th. So they're going to play whoever finishes 5th, Sauce. So if Carlton win, that means Collingwood lose. That means Fremantle might win. Carlton might have to travel over to Fremantle, or they might have to travel over to Brisbane, or they have to play Melbourne at the MCG, which we just saw last week. That's a big final either way. So they win, and it's not over for them because they can't get flogged in a final.
But they give themselves a chance against all of those matchups, and because Carlton has been a good list. So that's what I'm saying is they've got so much more to play for and so much more to lose by not winning. And that sounds dumb, Pez, because they have an opportunity. If they win this week, you would have to give them a 50-50 shot against Fremantle, against probably Brisbane, because, and maybe Melbourne as well, depending how they're performing. So, like, there's winnable games for them to get to a second week.
Oh, and that's what they'd want to do. But no Carlton fan is thinking about that at the moment. They're thinking about that goal in the last 14 seconds last week, which actually, that's why they're in this position.
Yeah.
If they won that game against Melbourne, which they should have won, they mucked up there at the end in that last minute, they'd already be there. So those fans are sweating, and it is going to be a bloodbath in the crowd on Sunday.
And Pez, it's funny because we've spoken about this a couple this year, and I feel like it's we haven't spoken about this in football for a long time, is how many games have been decided by poor execution of managing the clock. Richmond have cost themselves, they have redeemed themselves now, but they could finish. They couldn't finish anything.
They're seventh. They're seventh.
They're good. But Collingwood, Essendon should have retained the clock there, and they wouldn't be in the position that they're in. Probably with Rutten, they have that win. They keep that winning streak alive. Some different circumstances. But Carlton have let a real golden opportunity. They lose the unlosable, basically, Pez. With 12 seconds to go out, all they needed to do was hold the ball. They had the ball. Bad turnover, bad kick, results in a loss and fighting for your life.
You remember back to the start of the year, Carlton were actually getting big leads, and then they were giving them up, but still winning the game.
Still winning the games.
I remember a game, Port Adelaide, they're up by 50 points. Port Adelaide came back, only lost by 3. So say Carlton lose that game, they're not in the finals anyway. So Carlton have done well to get where they are, but they probably needed that extra win somewhere just to secure it. So it's going to be a massive round. What was a massive round, Sauce, was us last week with our bet slip.
Soft review. It's no official review. How does it end? We don't know. They've kind of lost, but they've won as well.
It was a big week, Pez. Big week indeed. Bounce back for you and me. Well, just hitting all the goals again, Pez. Back-to-back weeks for me in the positive. We already talked about the Friday night game, Pez. Let's take things off. We both sort of started with a loss on the Friday night, didn't we?
No, I had Brisbane minus 13
I just was a bit unsure, Pez, because the week before all you did was throw up red crosses. I was hoping.
Well, all I can see from you is red crosses at the start, so you're not going to be liking the start of this. But I'd like to speak about this game, the Bulldogs versus the Giants. I had the Bulldogs over 102.5 points. It was 25-22 during the third quarter. Like, no team could score. Bulldogs started off quite well. Giants came back, and the Bulldogs actually had to work really hard to come back over the Giants, take the lead and win the game. And they just got there in the end and won by under a goal.
Sportsbet should have given out a justice refund for any poor bastard that had to watch this. This was the most disgusting game of football.
Just anyone watching.
I walked past. I was at the casino having a bit of a drink and a bit of a punt, Pez. I walked past the TV after watching the first 10 minutes and saw the score. It was 23-25 or something. And I'm like, oh, they must be watching the game on delay. No, third quarter. You're kidding.
Bad.
You are kidding.
Do you always just repeat what I say on the pod?
I was just painting a nicer word picture there, Pez. But it was absolutely a shocking game of football. And I had in this one Josh Dunkley to get more disposals than Lockie Whitfield. And he basically got 3 or 4 handball connections in the last minute or so. And got a loss there, Pez.
Yeah, lost by 3, so the 2 units there. But we head over to Adelaide and North, and I just put Rory Laird because he was in good form. Most disposals, $2.02 at Sportsbet. He didn't get it, and he was $1.75 at other bookies, but I had a unit there and lost that one.
I had a 2-leg same game bonus multi pairs. I had Ben Cunnington to get 20 or more in his game back. Fantastic scenes watching him run out with all his kids there, and you could see the tears in the eyes. And he had a pretty good half-time, Pez, but taking so much time away from footy definitely takes the toll, and he was unable to get the 20 disposals. I had Cam Zerha as well, 2 or more goals. He got that, but lost the bonus, Pez, but no money lost in the account.
No good for the bonus. The next game was Gold Coast versus Geelong. And this is one that I really liked. I didn't do a Pez special like we have won a bit of money on this season, Sauce, but I went the over 151.5. Brad Close for 15 plus disposals. I love seeing him get those chain of handballs in the middle of the ground and just get those disposals up. And Geelong, I put it down a little bit, minus 15.5. Probably should have put it up a bit because Geelong actually slaughtered the Gold Coast Suns. But that was a cheeky 5.44 Sauce for a big tick and a big win.
Yeah, huge win, Pez, just like Geelong, massive win. I talked about this being a danger game, but wow, was I wrong there. Geelong totally dominant in the first quarter and just actually didn't let their foot up all game. I had Geelong head-to-head and over 155.5. Geelong almost got that in the own scoring 119.
You got to look back at that and wonder how that's paying $2.40.
Yeah, pretty ridiculous. But I definitely will take the bonus 25 on that. Pez a nice little $60 return for me.
Yeah, the next one was going to be a red cross for me, but 14 seconds to go was the goal there from Melbourne to crush Carlton's hearts in the crowd there, and I had Melbourne 1-39, so they weren't going to win by 40 plus, and they got the win in the end. So another green tick.
Yeah, Pez, I was talking about the Moneyball specials last week, how much I was loving those, and this was one of two that got up. Missed the first one, but I had Oliver to get more disposals than Sam Wash, 29-27. Oliver cashes for a 2-unit bet.
Yeah, do you ever win any bets that aren't promos?
They're not promos, they're standard.
All right, we'll see what the next game is. What's the next game then? You would have won a game that's not a promo.
Oh, I didn't have a bet. Steer clear in the Richmond Hawthorn game. Is that what you're talking about?
So Fremantle, West Coast, I didn't bet.
Why I had a promotion for a money bet, and I had Caleb Sarong to get more disposals than Andrew Gaff, Pez, and
at 210.
Love this one. 210
right.
For some reason. I think that's a bit of a mistake there. He had 25, Gaff had 22. I looked in all sorts early though. Gaff got out to a flyer, and this game was actually great to watch. There was going back. The derby's always groused over there at the SPS Stadium.
West Coast just kept kicking that goal here and there. Fremantle just butchered the ball inside 50. I thought Fremantle were going to cover the line, which is around 38. I thought they were going to cover it easily, and the wet weather and inefficiency going forward didn't let that happen, but they secured the win. You're talking about Richmond Hawthorn. You stayed away, but I went Richmond minus 22.5, and wasn't this one of the most easiest bets to watch? Like, they dominated in the first quarter and then didn't really look back after that.
It was a really disappointing performance from Hawthorn. Richmond looked good, Pez, and they're starting to build a little bit of momentum. I wouldn't want to be coming up against them in September, as we know with their history. But let's get on to one of another dominant performances, Pez. Sydney taking on Collingwood, and it was a great dominant performance. And I don't think people are talking a lot about this one, considering the deficit that was Essendon versus Port Adelaide. But Sydney looked good. There was a packed SCG, Pez. It's been a long time since I've seen Sydney going like that.
Yeah, up and about. They're a very unselfish team inside forward 50. Like, they'll always look for another player. They'll only take a shot from the boundary when they desperately have to. So they get the ball out of the middle and they go from there. Now, I stayed away from this game and the Essendon Port Adelaide, so it's all on you. And I'm sure you want to bet that wasn't a promo here.
Yeah, I went with our good friends at MintBet, Pez, and promotion. It was the bye-bye buddy anytime goal scorer max bet of $20, Pez. So was that one?
Just the free money.
0.8 units, Pez. That was absolute free money. The third goal of the game. He had another 2 later on to salute that, but it didn't matter, Pez. 40 in my pocket.
Just double it up. And the next game we didn't bet on by the looks of things there, but Port Adelaide dominated, and it's got to be disappointing for the Bombers.
We've spoken enough about Essendon, Pez, so I'm not going to waste my breath talking about that. Let's get on to another winner for me, Pez, the multi. Brisbane, Richmond and Sydney. Tick, tick, tick. You little ripper. A 2-unit multi, Pez, at 256.
Yeah, I had my multi-1 here, which was my Saturday special, the 5 legs. Adelaide 1-39, tick. Geelong minus 23.5, tick. Melbourne 1-39, tick. The Bulldogs minus 15.5. Couldn't get the job done. There's a red cross.
To score 15 points at all,
but
Pez.
I'm glad after that loss it was raining at Fremantle, because I bumped their line up to 57.5. And if they kicked straight and actually were efficient going inside 450, they might have got that, but we're nowhere near it. So a red cross there. Bonus bet goes begging. But my second multi had to put the 4 legs in to get over the $2 odds. Bulldogs, Fremantle, Geelong, Richmond, 2 units there to bring 2 and a little bit back. Loved it.
Yeah, that's a nice little multi-Pez. All right. Keeping the dreams alive is our bet slip, Pez. Let's think about how we went for the round.
Yep. So I didn't forget about it this week. I've got it open here.
You just cut me off. That's fine.
That's cool. That's fine. 9 units I put out. 17.42 units back in for a profit of 8.42 units source.
Love it, Pez. I staked 9.8 units just to up you one, but didn't salute with the return. I only returned 16.32, but still a profit loss of 6.52 units, Pez. 2 positive rounds for us means we continue to climb for the year.
Yeah, it's massive. So I've staked 204.4 units for the year, but returned 282.48 units for a profit of 78.08 units.
Love that, Pez.
Whatever your unit is, multiply it by that, and that would have been your profit if you followed every one of my bets.
Yeah, have a lazy 50 on every one of those pairs. There's just close to $4,000 full of profits. You love that. I've staked for the year pairs 176.64 units, returned 209.99, a profit loss of 33.35 pairs. You love to see that.
You gotta love to see that. And on Twitter, they had the fire emoji for both of us because they're just we're going there, and it's coming to the last round of footy. And I kind of don't want this season to end because we're just absolutely killing it.
Pez, we've got one more round of the regular season to make profit, another 4 after that. Profit, profit, profit. We are going to be singing big, singing huge units. And if you haven't already, jump on to all our Twitter posts and our social medias. Get on there, Pez. Where can they find all these value bets, basically?
At Behind the Bound on Twitter. If you're not following or you don't have an account, make one and get on board.
Yeah, make one and start making some money. Let's get into our bet slip for the last round of the regular season.
The fact that the size of the bets was relatively small.
Our bets with an opportunity about 50 metres out.
I was with a mate and we were getting sort of ready to leave, and he said, I think I'm going to whack 10 on Maxi. Do you want some as well? And I said,
Oh, yes! Yes!
Yes, Bruce.
Oh, yes, yes, yes. That's what you'll be saying if you get along with our bet slip. But as we always do, Pez, not only Saturday specials, let's get the specials for the round. What is it, 23?
23.
Cyril takes a special and goes bang.
And there's Bruce again. We miss him in the commentary box because you got absolute spuds in there now. So Sportsbet, they've got bet returns for all match this week if you're eligible. Ladbrokes, they've got the same game multi, only one refund per day. So that's one for Friday, one for Saturday, and one for Sunday. They've got the footy lines Friday and Sunday, the $2 lines. And they've also got the mega multi that you can go on there. Make sure you read the terms and conditions as always. Neds have $2 lines only on Friday and Sunday. So it'll be $1.90 lines on the Saturday for Neds. 20 plus at halftime, you win on head-to-head bets over at Neds. And a 3-leg same game multi Friday and Saturday this week. So quite strange. Bet365 has the same tab. We love how they've put it down. So they've got the head-to-head special. Now you got to make sure $1.10 minimum odds, $2 odds total has to be over $2, and you can't do the multiplier. You put your bet on up to $50. You get a bonus back if one leg loses. If you have 3+ legs, or if you have 5+ legs and 2 legs lose, you'll get your bonus bet back as well. They've also got the same game multi. They've taken it down in the last couple of weeks from 4 legs to 3 legs source. So if you jump onto tab, you can get 3 legs same game multi. Now Moneyball, this is the first time for Moneyball here. I've got the $3 same game multi offer, which is there all the time, and it's there on my account. But my alternate account actually got sent this one. So they've got the player $2 head-to-head specials, which you've been jumping on board, Source. And this week, isn't it great? Because I've been able to jump on a special and jump on with you to try and make some money as well. We've got Lockie Neal versus Christian Petrarca. Who's going to get more disposals out of them two? Doesn't matter if they get less than 15 or less than 20 or less than 25. It's just more than the other.
It's a great watch.
If it's a tie, it's a bet void. So it's not even a loss like on other companies. The other game is Essen and Richmond. Mason Redmond versus Daniel Rioli. Daniel Rioli playing his halfback role. Redmond in the back line there. Who are you going to choose as well? Blue bet, the same 3 as usual. 12 plus lead at halftime. You get paid out early. And they've got Bluey's Disposal Bonanza Source. $5. 5 or more of these players to get 25 or more. So you got Neal, Canelio, Dangerfield, Short, Wines, Dacos, and Warner.
Make sure you do your research with this one, Pez, because quite often people see the specials and like, oh, it must be great value. Remember, bookies are designed to the house always wins. You go through each of those ones, those players. Lockie Neal, $1.18 to get 25 or more. Canelio, 157. Patrick Dangerfield, $1.93. Jaden Short, $2.03. Ollie Wines, $1.19. Nick Dacos, $1.77. And Chaddy Warner, $1.95. So there's 3 or 4 of them that aren't guaranteed to get it. They've probably got 1, 2, 3, probably Lockie Neal, Canelio, Ollie Wines, and who's the other one? Just Ollie Wines. So 4 out of the 6 that they've listed there probably are your ones you're sweating on. 2 or 3 others, Pez. So make sure you look at it properly and you do your research.
There's also injuries as well that can play a part, and you try and multi them up. Like, this is my advice. If you see a promotion, try and multi what they're offering in the promo on another company or anything in a same game multi, and just compare the odds to see if there is actually a big price boost or
Well,
not.
the odds for all of them to get it, Pez, are 7 legs, which obviously you don't need 7 to get them, but to give you a little bit of a reality check about how unrealistic it is, if for all 7 to get 25 or more, 29.81. So 29 bucks for all of them to get it. So it's huge
price.
odds.
It doesn't have to happen in that one, so they're offering you $5, but I'm not going to take that and not do it. But just do your research on the promos. Now, you are all over MintBet, which won you your money last week on
promotion. Unlike me to use a promotion in betting.
Buddy. Anything else you can tell us, because that's all I've got for the specials today.
Yeah, MintBet have a Melbourne or Brisbane special. So Friday night they've got the Brisbane versus Melbourne game, obviously in the AFL, and you've got Brisbane versus Melbourne in the NRL. So if you think Brisbane is going to win both of those games, you can get $6 for that to happen, or Melbourne to win both games, you can get $4.
Are the Broncos favourites in the NRL? Do we know?
I would say not. So Brisbane
if
and
it's
Melbourne,
paying $6, it wouldn't, would it?
you would say not, considering the AFL is a 50-50 pairs. But if you give me 2 seconds, I can pull those odds up right now. So for that game, 260 outsiders are the Broncos, Melbourne Storm $1.50. So if you partner them up on their own, you could probably get some decent value, $1.50 for Melbourne, as well as maybe Brisbane if you think that's going to happen. So my advice is to go with MintBet, because they're going to be our sponsors soon.
Okay, well, there you go. Official sponsor maybe, but
hopefully.
The iPad's on charge. It's halftime in the NRL now. Now, we do watch NRL sometimes, Sauce, especially when there's no Thursday night footy, but I wouldn't call myself an expert, so I'm not giving any advice on
definitely
that
not.
promo there.
Definitely not, Pez. We'll stick to AFL, where we know what we're talking about and we make a little bit of coin. Pez, you ready to get into our last regular season round of the bet slip?
Oh, I'm excited about this one.
Me too, Pez. There's a lot of value to be had this week. As we spoke about, there is a lot of contests that are close, so if you think you've got a good read on it, there's some money to be made. First game of Jeez, Pez, I could have had a big breath then. First game of the round, an absolute blockbuster. We've already spoken about it. All we need to know, Pez, is who we're backing and what the odds are. $1.84 favourites are Brisbane at home at the Gabba. Melbourne outsiders are $1.96. -2.5 is the line. The over-under, 170.5, Pez. Talk me through your bet here, Pez. Who you backing?
Yeah, so before I say who I'm backing, I think I like Brisbane here, because Melbourne have underperformed. They've got away with a couple of wins, and I just think they're travelling to the Gabba. Brisbane have been really good at the Gabba over the years, except for in finals. But this isn't a final, but it ends up kind of being like a final, because Brisbane, packed house, need to win to get a top 4 finish, because they need, if they don't get a home final in the first week, that's fine, Sauce, because they guarantee themselves the second one. But if they can steal a win in the top 4, even without a home final, they guarantee themselves a home prelim final to try and make that grand final, which they haven't been able to do while they've been up in the top 4 the last few years. So I think Brisbane can get the win, but Melbourne, experienced finals campaigners, will they stand up and do something a little bit different and try and get the win here? I'm staying away from it personally. I do have Brisbane in my multi. Okay, so that's my bet there at the end of the day with a couple of other legs. But I've gone down Sauce's thing now. I've seen Sauce make lots and lots of money with these promotions, and Moneyball on my alternate
I don't know if
account.
it's a promotion, Pez. I think it's just their normal thing. Let's not say it's their promotion. It's just a normal thing that they offer.
It's their promotion, but they don't offer it to everyone, because they don't offer it to me.
Oh, I don't know. Maybe it's a good Blake special, and you're just not a good Blake.
I have to get it from an alternate account, which I have.
See, and that's why people that cheat the system like this, Pez, you're not a good bloke, so you're not offered it.
Got the screenshot in, and I've gone Lockie Neal to get more disposals than Christian Petrarca. Now, these players have been known to get 30-plus disposals, have massive impacts on games. Lockie Neal, last time he was at the Gabba, he had an absolute perler of a day. He got tagged by Windhager from St Kilda last week, and he didn't get as many disposals as you would think Lockie Neal would get, but he loves the 1-2s, he loves running forward, and I just think Lockie Neal over Christian Petrarca this week is a good bet at $2 with a void. You get your money back if they tie. I'm on Lockie Neal's bandwagon Friday night.
Yeah, Pez, so am I actually. I think that Lockie Neal does get more disposals than Oliver. If you're looking at doing your research, Lockie Neal, $6 for most disposals, Group 1. Clayton Oliver, $2.50. So the bookies definitely have some different odds there, Pez, but that's why we lean on our own. We don't just follow the bookies every time. I've gone the same thing, Pez, the Moneyball special. I'm on Lockie Neal, 50 or more. I think he sews up the Brownlow as well as a little bit of a spoiler
50 or more disposals? No?
Yeah, 50 or more, Pez. There's a bare minimum.
That's going to be paying a bit more than $2.
I've got 2 units on that one, Pez, at the 50, obviously the max bet there. I've also gone in with a 3-leg same game multi, Pez. I've gone over 140.5. I think this will be a really high scoring game, free flowing. Brisbane to win and under 200, which is probably my little bit 50-50, but the line is there at 170. That gives me 30 either side. I think it's good to go. 254 of the odds, 2 units.
Okay, so $1.84 odds, you're saying before the game, Brisbane by themselves. You've actually put 2 lines there, an under and an over. One of them's definitely going to win. So if Brisbane win and one of those win and one of them loses, you get a bonus bet.
Bonus bet back.
So a bit of insurance. But if you hit that middle, you've actually bumped the odds up to 254.
Yeah, and obviously the bookies are bookies for a reason, and I think that they've got this 170 about right. So I've gone 30 either side of it, Pez, which you're very familiar with. Obviously, this is your little life hack in betting. So I love this. I love this bet, Pez.
Yeah, the mug will be all over that because the mug punter, he loves the over-unders and he'll have something to comment.
I'm sure he'll tell me that I'm wrong and it'll miss by 1 point or some shit like that, like it has the last couple of weeks, Pez.
When we put the bet slip out. But the next game, the Giants taking on Fremantle.
Yeah, this game here, I'm a little bit surprised with the odds. GWS are 275 outsiders, no surprise there. Fremantle $1.44 favourites, minus 12.5 is the line, over under 149, Pez. Fremantle have to win this because they win this, they get a guaranteed top 4 spot. I don't understand why $1.44. I thought they would have been down a bit closer, about the $1.30 sort of mark. I know they're playing away from home, but GWS, in Fremantle, they'll be playing in front of 10 fans over there. So I'm all over Fremantle in this one.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. Which
we're in trouble.
It does happen sometimes, but I think the bookies have the odds wrong. I would like to see Fremantle down. Oh, wouldn't like it actually, but I would think they would be more closer to $1.30.
Yeah.
But I loved seeing them at $1.48 because then I got excited to look at the line source, and the line 12.5. And then while I was looking at the line on, I think it was Neds or Lads, refresh went out to 13.5. But it's on a Saturday. They didn't offer the $2 line, so I've gone over to Bet365. Still got the 12.5 at $1.91. I've put the 2 units on it. No other little gimmicks with same game multis or anything. Just flat out, straight up to win. Fremantle minus 12.5. I think this line should be closer to 19.5.
Yeah, Pez, I totally agree. We just supported that with that. I've gone 3-leg same game multi with legs, with leads, whatever.
Legs.
3 legs with Neds. Fremantle over 125.5, under 180.5, Pez. A little bit of your special magic there. 225, 2 units on that one. And that will cash, Pez. That will cash for sure.
For sure. You better hope GWS don't score 22 points.
That is money for VBs, that one. It's been a while since I've called that. That is money for VBs, that one.
Yeah, with the over-unders, been playing a little bit of tricks and shadows.
But talking about dead rubbers, Pez, we hit Saturday afternoon. North Melbourne taking on Gold Coast. The only thing here to lose for North Melbourne is the coach. That's the biggest thing that they're playing for. Show a good performance. Number one, they're not losing number one.
If they win, they lose the number one draft.
Exactly right. So there's no reason for Gold Coast to be $1.32. It's absolutely ludicrous for North Melbourne to even win this game. 3.30 outsiders are North Melbourne. Only the home ground advantage is what they're talking to there. $1.32 outsiders are the Gold Coast Suns. Minus 22.5 is the line. Over under 184.5, Pez. As you said, North Melbourne have everything to lose here by winning. The odds should be so much closer down to $1.10.
Yeah, I Gold Coast have nothing to play for either. Away from home.
Well, they do and they don't, Pez, because Stuart Dew's obviously keeping his job. There's a lot of those young blokes that would be knocking on the door of contract renewals, and they might not be in the regular 22. There's going to be a big season review from Gold Coast. The last game, they need to go out firing, and then they can enjoy their Melbourne trip.
Yeah, so do North Melbourne. They've got a couple of weapons up forward as well. Davis Uniacke in the middle. So depending on how they go, I know you've got a soft spot for Gold Coast Sauce. And
Love the Gold Coast.
I don't know who's going to win it here. I'd probably lean towards the North Plus, but I'm steering clear at this stage, and probably on the day as well, just because I don't really want to touch that game as a dead rubber, but I will watch it with interest to see what does go on.
Yeah, I'm steering clear in this one, Pez. I do have Gold Coast in my multi. I think $1.32 is a nice little filler there. I don't think North Melbourne are going to win this game. They don't gain anything from winning it. They lose the number one pick if they win this, because West Coast aren't beating Gold Coast. Aren't beating Geelong. Let's be honest there. So, there'll be some creative coaching moves from the intern coach, Patch Adams, who he's not getting the job. Do you hear him talk during the week, Pez? He was fantastic advocate for North Melbourne. I hope they keep him around.
He was. He's played for them before, and he wanted Clarko in, and he just spoke, hey, this is a great group of blokes. This is it. I'm I'm not here. Usually the interim coach sometimes is going for the actual job, so they don't really want to talk up
he's been fantastic.
anything, but he's all for North Melbourne and he just wants them to succeed.
And that's good to see from one of those interim coaches, as you said. He actually has some passion for the club. He wants what's best for the club. You love to see it. You know that he wants the number one pick there. He wants what's best for the club, so he won't definitely cheat or lose or tank, but they'll be creative with some positions, I think, Pez, and get the job done there by losing. Nor we get on to the 4:35 Pez down the highway to GMHBA Stadium, Alphabet Stadium, as you love to call it. $2 favourites are the Catters. West Coast Eagles $13, -65.5 is the line. Over under 166.5 Pez. Nothing much to play for Geelong. They've got the top spot sewn up. They're probably going to rest a couple of players. Danger's 300th Pez. He's quite a young bloke to be able to get to the 300 mark. Only the 99th in history of AFL to get 300 there, Pez.
Oh, only the 99th.
Well, it's pretty. There's a lot of players that go through the AFL system.
There you go. All right, fair enough. But this is interesting in a different way here, Sauce. You've got Jeremy Cameron, who's out injured this week.
Injured, really,
he was in with a chance to, compete for Kerno with the Coleman medal there. Tom Atkins, your man, managed.
Out.
Just got to manage him into finals, into the bye.
What am I going to bet on,
Pez? Reece Stanley out injured as well. But the West Coast Eagles, Gaff out injured, his season is over. Nat Nui injured, his season is over. I don't know why you would risk Nat Nui with his body and his history anyway. So not too much to play for. The only thing I could think of when I was looking to bet on this game was maybe Tom Hawkins just kicks an absolute bag and gets above Charlie Curnow, but he was paying about $2.40 for 5 goals.
He's paying $6 for 6 goals, Pez. That's ridiculous.
So I don't like that at all. So I am steering clear. The big red cross, I'm not going near it. Will I watch it? Maybe, to see how Brad Close goes. One of my main men I love to watch these days.
I think the biggest thing that in this game is expect a lot of those young blokes to really fire for Geelong, because they are fighting for a spot. Because Pez,
Close is not fighting for a spot. He's in.
Geelong's best 22 is still undecided. There are a few names that are coming back. Obviously there are a few, like Myers. He hasn't really sewn up his spot. You're looking through there. Radagalia gets his first game.
Dalhouse isn't coming back in, so he doesn't really have a chance for finals,
but like
does he?
those sort of blokes, they're not on the fringe, but those ones that have been in and out. But at the same time, Pez, people are going to be walking around in cotton wool not wanting to lose their spot. So it's a really, really interesting game in terms of that. I'm actually steering clear, Pez, because I'm going to go down there and enjoy a few frothies down the highway.
My heart just skipped a beat. What's going on here?
Yeah.
I need medical attention. You didn't bet on the Geelong game?
Well, Pez, what I like to bet on, I like to do the Pez special. And
no Tom Atkins.
No Tom Atkins.
No Jeremy Cameron.
No bet.
Oh, no.
I know. I bet you I still picked the wrong forward too with that game.
You'll pick Hawkins for 6 and Radagalia will come out.
I did speak last week, Pez, how I put a little cheeky bet on Cameron to win the Coleman and Justice refund on Sportsbet. So everything's turning up Millhouse for me.
The old Justice refund, get your money back. There you go. Was it in bonus bets or is it just cash?
No, sure? I don't know. Actually, they haven't paid it out yet, so I'm not sure what will happen. I did see the little. Oh, it's a bonus 50. Oh, that's annoying.
Well, there's your bonus. Speaking of bonuses, I used my tab one last week. I used it on something completely different.
Yeah.
And I was like, I cost myself. I actually got a tab one back today from the MLB, 3 out of 4 in the head-to-heads, but I'm not going to use it because I'm not going to do a source.
I never do that.
You said it last week on the podcast.
You're trying to win back
the bonus bet so you
that
can
I
use it on the
accidentally
pod.
did. Yeah, exactly right.
Yeah, I did win back.
Yeah, but
the
your
bonus
week's already
bet, but
passed.
I'm
Your
not
week's
gonna
already
use it.
passed.
I'm not going to use
I
it.
just
No,
have
it has not passed.
Has passed.
You're a piece of shit.
You're a flog. All right, speaking of flogs, Essendon taking on Richmond. 3:45 outsiders are the Bombers after their dreadful week. Ben Rutten fighting for life. We don't know if he'll still be on life support up until then. Richmond favourites $1.30. -23.5 is the line, Pez. Over under 176.5.
If he has a problem like me and he needs medical attention, Source, I'm sure no one at Essendon would tend to him because they just they don't want him at the club anymore. They just want Clarko there. But this game, I think Richmond win. They don't have a lot to play for in ladder position-wise. I think they will win it and finish 7th. If they lose it, they could go down to 8th. But they can't climb any higher. So they're going to be playing an away final. It could be an away final at the MCG, though we don't know until the end of the round. I'm steering clear of this game. And I don't even have them in my multi. So there we go.
Before all the news came out about Alistair Clarkson, Pez, I jumped on halfway through the first quarter on the Sportsbet. Of the Richmond game, the Essendon game last week against Port Adelaide. I jumped on Sportsbet. Richmond are sitting there, minus 17.5 is the line. And I'm like, you little ripper. Dropped 50 on that one, 2 units. But now that all the news has come out, I'm a little bit uncertain with it. But I am going to stick to my initial thoughts that minus 17.5 will get the job done. The line at the moment is minus 23.5. So I've got 6.5 points. I'll say 6 points.
Oh, great that the listeners can jump on board with that bet, mate.
I'm just giving them a little bit of an insight of how you can get some extra value. If you can pick some trends and look ahead, that's a great way to make some money.
Could have tweeted it out for the fans.
I didn't know if I was going to use it or not, Pez. I might have kept it for the personal, but I'm back in my initial instincts.
How many times does Sauce do this through the year? Huh?
All the
just
time,
think
non-stop.
Think of that. Trying to cheat some value.
Not cheat some value, Pez. That's a great punting. Is that not a great punting strategy to look a little bit ahead?
Well, not if you're not going to use it on the pod because you think it's not a good bet. It's not a good punting strategy.
Sorry, do you not punt outside of the pod? Do you only punt on the pod? No.
I don't have an MLB podcast. How can I punt on that?
I don't have an AFL podcast, Pez. I've got a Making Money podcast, and that's the way to do it.
You didn't let me. Steph Curry, I bet on him in the pod, and you cracked the shits. You did not let me bet on him.
Sorry, I don't have any control whatever you bet on because you never follow the rules.
I don't know. You've opened up a can of worms heading into the last round, Sauce. It's like one of us is down like 100 units or something.
Oh, it really isn't like the way you were talking about me last week. Jeez, you're a piece of shit. You got into me last week about being 30 units up. Jesus Christ. All right, speaking of, I'm going to use the same intro for the next game. We go across to South Australia, Pez, for what do they call this one? They don't call it the derby. The showdown, the Adelaide showdown. I mean, the biggest question in this one will be, will Port Adelaide wear the prison bars stripes that they've been lobbying for? Will there be a change room uniform malfunction like they did a couple of years ago? Port Adelaide, $1.35 favourites. Adelaide, $3.14. Minus 19.5 is the line. Over, under, 166.5. Pez, I hope this is like the derby last week at SBS Stadium and they just beat the shit out of each other.
I'm looking forward to this one, even though both teams won't be in finals. But the prison bar jersey, I've got a solution. Port Adelaide and Collingwood, make it a tradition. They play the first game of the year against each other, and they alternate home grounds, every first round of the year. And if Port Adelaide win, they get to wear the prison bar jumpers in the rest of the season for, say, 3 games, and one against Collingwood, and they have to come up with an alternate. But if Collingwood win, Port Adelaide don't get to wear it.
I love that.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah. How good would that be? Like actually something to play for, and like realism. First game, you had your big preseason, and then it's like your club's jumper literally is on the line. That's awesome. You
want to play in your historic jumper? Here, you beat us for it, and go and make it a tradition every year, but alternate home ground advantage. Love it.
That's the first good idea you've had in this podcast. We've been doing this for 5 years. That is a banger. That's an absolute banger.
You watch that come to life next year. Even though I've got no say anywhere in the AFL. But here, I love Port Adelaide to bounce back. Do you remember what happened last time? Jordan Dawson had an amazing set shot after the siren to win the game off his left boot. He's a beautiful kick of the footy for the Adelaide Crows. But Adelaide is struggling. Port Adelaide, beat up on Essendon last week. They're going to continue to try and beat up on their brothers. What do you call them? Brothers over across the church or whatever they are in Adelaide.
The brothers across the church.
There's only churches in Adelaide if you've ever been there. Like, there's nothing else to do.
There goes Pez's geographical knowledge is like, church, yep.
I've been there. There's nothing to do except go and visit a church or go to the footy. And I went to the footy, and Port Adelaide minus 18.5 on Bet365. 2 units there. I really like that bet. I like Port Adelaide to win this big.
Yeah, I think I agree, Pez. I think that they win this big. They don't want their crosstown rivals, across the other side of the church, on the other side of the pews there. What do they call it? Down the altar, the other side, the family side, the brother's side. Nope. I know I was trying to jump on your little analogy there, but I'm not going to waste my breath anymore. Absolutely struggling. But Port Adelaide will bounce back, not only against Adelaide, but also to send off one of their absolute legend, lock for the Hall of Fame there, Pez, Robbie Gray, who announced his retirement today. 270 games, 365 goals, 3-time represented the international team honours, 3-time John Cahill medal, which is the Adelaide's best player, 2-time Port Adelaide leading goal kicker, 4-time All-Australian. And Pez, there was about 2 or 3 years in there. He was absolutely the best player in the competition. And I know that you're going to hate this story, Pez, but the amount of willpower that he had to win games off his own boot, you witnessed firsthand in that St Kilda game, and he is an absolute
St Kilda game. You remember the Carlton game after the siren where he won it.
Absolute
over there.
superstar.
And I do remember the day he did his ACL down at Etihad Marvel Dockland Stadium, whatever you want to call it. It was shattering, and he just came back really strong and was able to play that small forward position, marking forward, beautiful set shot at goal, and congratulations on a fantastic career.
Yeah, really well said, Pez. I'm steering clear in this one. If I had to make a lean, I'd go Port Adelaide the line, minus 19.5. I don't mind that at all. All right, on to the Sunday special, Pez. Before we get into this, I think the AFL has really missed an opportunity here. They've got the 1:10 start for the Hawthorn Western Bulldogs game. This game will finish in the middle of the second quarter of the Carlton-Collingwood game.
Beautiful.
Beautiful? Why beautiful?
Because if the Bulldogs lose and Carlton are sitting there at halftime and it's a close game, they go, "Oh, boys, we're in finals. Crack a beer open at halftime. Let's go."
Yeah, it makes it really dangerous for punters. They should have done this at the same time, the game, and just either done it at the same time, exact same time, or do the first one so you can watch it all the way through.
Now, I'm struggling to think, but other sports that do same time when finals and positioning's on the line. There is a couple of other sports that do that.
Yeah, like NBA do it quite often. MLB do it a little bit. Sometimes the NRL do it before. It depends what the fixture is doing.
But see, it's hard with the broadcast rights as well, isn't it? Where they're guaranteed games at different things. They don't want to compete with each other.
You've got a 1:10 game. If North Melbourne's playing, you're playing this at 9:30 in the morning. So just move this one half an hour forward.
Half an hour forward's not going to cut it.
45 then.
That's not going to cut it. It's 2 hours, 20 minutes apart.
Oh, I don't know. Just move it forward. Move it forward.
Move forward by half an hour and still you'll see it in the end of the second quarter in time.
Shut up, Pez. All right, we get on to the first game. Hawthorn taking on the Western Bulldogs. 287 outsiders are the Hawks. $1.42 favourites are the Doggies. Minus 16.5 is the line over. 172.5 Pez. Bulldogs have a lot on the line here. They must win. Pez, they have been really disappointing in these big moment games though, and Hawthorn in Tasmania, I'm sending off a couple of legends for their Tasmanian fans. I think this is a huge danger game for the Bulldogs.
It can be dangerous. The only reason I'm going down the path of my same game multi-bet is because the Bulldogs have to go into this game. They're the only other team outside the 8 that has a chance to make the 8 this week, and they have to go in there thinking, we need to win big. We can't control what happens in Carlton-Collingwood, but we want to give ourselves a chance. We don't want to end our season to go, you know what? We didn't even have a chance. Go into the room after the games, watch the game as a club after you had a big win against Hawthorn, and see if you're going to be playing in 2 weeks' time, or see if your Mad Monday starts right there and then with slabs ready on hand on ice. That's what it is. So I've gone Bulldogs minus 16.5 at the fixed line, $2 line, and the only other things I've done is Bulldogs to win, which obviously doesn't really matter, and Bulldogs plus 19.5. So if they win Sauce, but they don't win by minus 16.5, it's a bonus bet back for me. I boosted the odds as well to $2.04, and that's with Ned's 1 unit.
Yeah, interesting, Pez. How do you prepare for that one? How do you go on the plane to Tassie? Do you buy the slabs down in Tassie and risk having that shitty cascade, or do you bring some of the very best down from Victoria and get the Victorian price and not the Tasmanian tax on it?
Well, it depends what the players want to drink, because there might be some Jameson and dry thereabouts.
These lads are from Footscray. They are on the very best, Pez. There is no doubt about that.
Whatever it is, you're either paying the import fee, you're getting someone at the club, you're just giving them a job this week, and they have to have it ready.
Second plane, there you go, love that.
Have to have it ready. Here's your 20 kilos or whatever that you're taking across importing.
That wouldn't get through much.
Oh, well, you've got multiple different people. Maybe you send 6 people over, so you've got 120 kilos of booze there that you can send down, but you've got to be prepared not to open it, because if you win and you have to watch the next game and Carlton lose, you're still playing your season, so you've got to recover properly. You got to keep going.
I like that temptation,
but Collingwood get a down and Carlton are winning, and you're like, oh, our season's fallen away. You just look at Beveridge, and Beveridge goes,
you're not looking at beverage, you're looking at a beverage. You give the old wink there to a teammate and go, you know what, let's crack this bad boy. You try sitting in a room with Tommy Liberatore and telling him with when you said 6 blokes holding their 20 kilos of beer and just go, Hey, just wait till the result there and be like, no, thank you, sir.
Liver's got someone set up already that he's got a drink bottle with booze set up because he's ready to go down to Hobart or Tasmania, wherever they're playing. He's going to score another century.
He definitely will, Pez. If Carlton get the win there, Pez, and their season is over, look out, Tasmania. I'm steering clear in this one, Pez. I am really leaning towards Hawthorn. I think plus 16.5 is a nice little line. I know the Doggies have a lot to play for. They have been disappointing in these big moments. They normally just need to be in finals to be able to make the difference, but this isn't finals, Pez. Hawthorn have had some big scalps, and they have an amazing winning record down in the sunny city of Tasmania down there, Pez. So I'm steering clear, but I would lean towards Hawthorn at the line. Plus 16.
Leans central, but the big game.
Huge game.
Carlton, Collingwood. A top 4 or a top 8 finish. One of them's going to win, one of them's not.
Yeah, this is a great game, Pez. I can't wait to have my Sunday afternoon in front of the TV, not be like the Bulldogs and have my VBs ready to go. $1.92 each way. It is a pick 'em, Pez. Minus 0.5 is the line, favouring towards Collingwood, but it's actually a dead rubber in terms of line. Over under 165.5, Pez. Who wins, why, and what are your bets?
Cheeky.
Oh, double cheeky.
Cheeky.
This is
really cheeky, because that's where my cheeky comes to.
This is really cheeky, and it's just a single bet source. But I don't even care for this bet. This is the thing.
So on the draw, haven't you?
No, I haven't. I haven't gone that cheeky, but it is quite cheeky. I've gone the cheeky 10, and the 0.4 units here at Tab, and I've just gone to try and get one of these clubs' hopes up and just drown the other clubs, because they're going to be like, Pez has bet on this team to win here, and Pez hasn't bet on the other team. I've just gone the little Carlton Blues, 40 plus.
Love it.
750.
Love it, Pez.
There's the cheeky 10, and Pies fans will be dreading that. Everyone thinks it's going to be a close game. Maybe Carlton just kick away with it.
Love that, Pez. If it gets the 40 plus, I think I'm in good stead there, Pez, because I've gone
cheeky
as well, and I exactly the same thing, Pez. 3-leg same game multi, 587 of the odds, over 164.5. Carlton minus 10.5, the alternate line. I think they get the job done. Well, actually, I don't really care. And Jackie Martin to kick a goal, just because I want to see his celebration. I love a little bloke running around. Imagine him going around, kicks the winning goal, flipping off all those Collingwood fans. Oh, that'd be so good there and juicy. So I've got 10 on that one.
Well, if he kicks the winning goal, you're not going to win your bet.
Hey? No, kicks the sealer. So they're already up by 4 points. And then they're up by 5 points. 5 points.
Up by 4, he kicks a goal.
Up by 5 points, and then he kicks the sealer to make it 10.5. And I love that one,
I'm glad you classified all that and clarified it there.
All right, we're speaking of dead rubber, Pez. Sydney need to win this game basically to salute a second spot. They take on your Saints at Marvel Stadium, but no one will be watching this one because it is a 4:40 time slot, Pez, so you probably won't even be watching this one. 3:18 outsiders are the Saints, and Sydney, Pez, are $1.36. Minus 18.5 is the line. Over under 169.5.
No, there's no interest here. Sydney just win, and they win well. St Kilda's season over. A couple of rumours where maybe Brad Hill's going to try and find another club at the end of the season as well. And
is that fourth club or third club? Third club.
Fourth,
yeah.
Hawthorn, Fremantle, St Kilda, and then, I don't know, maybe North Melbourne.
Well, maybe North Melbourne with a return of Clarko.
See what happens.
There we go, Pez. You having a bet in this one?
No way.
Me neither, Pez. Only because I can't watch the game. I'm not going to watch this game, so I'm going to watch the Carlton Collingwood. There is nothing to play for there, Pez. Hopefully Sydney smash the shit out of you guys, so we don't have to fade them first week of finals. All right, let's get on to your one of 7 multis.
No, only the one multi this week. I've already said Brisbane. I got him $1.85 there at Tab. Fremantle, $1.48, which we love that. We spoke about that earlier, Sauce. And Port Adelaide, $1.39. I think they all win there. The riskier one is Brisbane, obviously, with the price is pretty similar with Melbourne. So if one leg fails, I do get a bonus back. And I've put the 2 units on it at $3.80 odds.
Yeah, love that one, Pez. I've gone 2 units on Tab, 3 head-to-head multi. Brisbane, Freo, and Richmond. That gives me odds of 361, Pez.
What are Richmond paying there?
$1.32.
Yeah, so mine's Port Adelaide is the difference, $1.39. There we go.
Cool.
Gotcha.
Have you got your second multi there, Pez?
No, that's it.
I've got one for you.
cheeky
Something you haven't spoken about, Pez, at all. And I haven't put it down, but just so the punters know. I haven't put it down.
You're going to put it down after it wins, aren't you?
No, I'm not. I just want to let the punters know that
Okay.
if you believe in Pez and a bigger St Kilda flog fan like he is, there is still hope that St Kilda make it. So if you believe St Kilda can make it, Pez, I've got some value for you. 3 legs, big multi. St Kilda minus 90.5, just 501 on its own, right? Carlton minus 50.5, and Hawthorn to win. All 3 of those things happen. Saints are marching into September. Bargain odds of $17,254.44.
That doesn't make sense. Yeah, but if Carlton win by 50, St Kilda don't make the finals.
No, they do.
They don't, because we're a game behind Carlton already. So Carlton...
Yeah, but Hawthorn beat the Dogs. Hawthorn get in there.
Yeah, so we can get above them,
You'll
but
get
we can't get
above-
above Carlton.
Yeah, well, that's what it says on the little thing that I had.
How do we-
I had a little picture, saw it.
How do we get above Carlton if
I don't
they're
know, don't ruin
an
my
extra
jokes,
win?
sir.
You needed to go Collingwood minus 50.5.
Oh, shit. Oh, absolutely blundered it. But I'm guessing the odds would be very similar, Pez, since it's $1.92. So
You've had a mare sauce, but we're used to
oh,
it.
geez, that was a good bit too. I've absolutely
I'm sitting there going the second leg. I'm like, if that happens, season's over anyway.
yeah. Well,
So
that'd be a typical St Kilda finish. But if you have Collingwood minus 50.5, it's the same line because it's a pick and Pez and it's an alternate line. So
It is, yep.
It's still 501 points. So
So 17, what's 17,000?
17,284
Is the odds.
Is the odds. So put a cheeky 10
I
on
didn't know
that.
it goes that high. Who'd you do that with?
Just Sportsbet.
I thought Sportsbet's odds always
Yeah,
finished
but
at
I didn't put.
2,500.
That's what I'm saying. I didn't put the bet down, so I wouldn't have taken it because
It
they
wouldn't
would
have taken it. Yeah.
Nah, so I just screenshot it. So you can't actually do it, because they would have given you, I think it's like 200,
$2,561
is the
I
maximum
think.
odds. But if you like that and you're a bit smarter than Sauce, put it on the right for team and watch your Saints get marched into September.
Imagine you put it down. You did. Like, just put cheeky 10 on it. And then you're
was
finishing
giving
me
you-
up already.
giving you the wand up there.
You just want to go home after that blunder.
I do.
No, imagine you put it down with Carlton and then St Kilda make the finals and you think, you beauty, I've put $10 at 17 grand here. I've won bloody 170 grand. And you look at it and you're like, oh shit, I chose the wrong team at the line here. That would have been shattering.
Yeah, but like it's
Yeah, you're not going to do it anyway.
you're not going to
but-
do it because it's not going to happen.
There we
But
go.
I'm just surprised you didn't bring it up for the whole podcast.
No, because it can't happen.
There's still hope.
The Saints are not
Still hope.
not a hope in hell of making
92 points.
not a hope in hell of making the finals. But BetSlip
Maybe
will
Sydney
be
are
out
really scared of Carlton.
at Behind the Bound on Twitter Source. So you will put out BetSlips, Pez's and Sauces last round of the season, last regular season round to make money in the AFL.
Yeah, definitely, Pez. It's going to be an absolute cracker. Can't wait. We'll still be recording next week despite the AFL round. We'll wrap up the season. We'll play some of our favourites, Pez. We'll play our Season's Over, where we discuss the teams that didn't make finals. We'll look at some of the All-Australians that are probably coming out. It's going to be a banger next week, Pez, but let's get through the first banger. Can't wait for the last round.
We'll review our bets as well, which is what a lot of people don't do on Pez. Peace out.
I'm still Sauce. We'll catch up next time. If you're having a punt, as always, bet responsibly.